Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be reviewing the Subaru Ascent. This is Subaru's 3-row SUV. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Nate Wade Subaru here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Ascent. I'll include a link to the website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbo 2.4 liter flat 4 cylinder that goes through a CVT. Fuel economy is 19 around town, and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 260 horsepower and then 277 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, it's actually pretty boxy for a Subaru with the design. And then popping down below, pretty interesting looking headlight design, that's for sure. And then you guys can see the chrome stripping there. And then that kind of reminds me of what's on the Honda CR-V. It looks like almost like boosters there on the front end of the car. Very interesting, to say the least. But there's the front end. Now our tire wheel setup is 245 by 50 by 20 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels, you got the silver with the darker gray trim there. Got these kind of bigger fender flares. Rest of the bodywork there with some silver mixed in. And then speaking of silver, look at all the chrome around the door handles and the window trim. Pretty fancy, but there's your side profile. Now taking a look at the key fob, we have our Subaru logo as the unlock. We got the opening for the hatch, and then you have a regular lock function as well. Pretty cool little setup. And bada bing, bada boom. So we are in the back. There is quite a bit of storage with the third row folded down. Again, pretty typical of a crossover in this segment. You can see here for the little cargo cover if you want to put that back here. Now pulling up the third row, you just have this little strap here, and then boom, pulls up the third row. And then the headrests itself are manual with that setup. Third row passengers do get some cup holders, which is definitely a nice feature. And then you can see the space behind the third row is actually pretty good. It's not massive, but it's pretty typical again of the segment. And when you're all done, just press this button right here and that will lower the hatch right back down. Normal Subaru taillights that kind of arc across. You got your Ascent Touring badge there on the back as well. And it's the rest of the rear. Now this leads us inside where we've got some nice soft touch trim here at the top. You can see here for the sunshade wood trim down below. This is cool with all the perforations. You can see again more of that soft touch trim. And then here are the seats. Pretty fancy with this. Adjustments nicely labeled there on the side. Getting in's easy. Little storage pocket. So you've got heated seats here in the back. We've got our own climate zone, bunch of charging ports as well. Captain chairs, by the way, which is always a nice feature. And then we do have some vents up top. And then as for the third row, you can see that it's not quite as fancy with the perforated trim like the second row. Definitely reserve it for kids. It is not very spacious with the legroom. Again, typical of the size category this is in. And then this leads us up front where you can see you've got nice soft touch trim there. It's the wood trim as well. Memory seat function. All of our window controls, most of the front two are automatic. The mirrors do power fold in. Blind spot monitoring the mirrors as well. I really like the brown coloration here. I think it looks really sharp if you ask me. All the power adjustments there on the side. And you got this nice trim here. And then the dash is soft touch too. So taking a look at the steering wheel, we've got soft touch all around. Paddle shifters there on the back. Bunch of practical controls here on the front, including for our lane centering, cruise control. You've got volume and voice command controls on the other side. Heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel itself. Kind of a nice placement. Regular stocks here on the back. And then we do have a mostly analog, but some digital element there in the center gauge cluster. Pretty easy to use overall. Now, this does come with a 360 camera system. You guys can kind of see the glare here a little bit with the screen. But as for the infotainment system itself, analog controls for the radio and climate on either side, which is nice. But you notice stuff like the climate and the seats are all built into the screen. This does have heated and ventilated seats, and the screen does respond quickly overall. And then some more nice trim kind of around the whole screen section there. A little bit of storage above the glove box, looks like. You got the glove box itself. And more storage up front here. This little area. You can see for the camera there to turn that on. Shifter here for the CVT, some cup holders, parking brake, and then it's pretty solid. I like this trim here on the top, it's nice. And then we do have a camera rear view mirror, and then we've got a panoramic sunroof up top. So quite a bit of glare, so it's kind of hard to see the window sticker, but anyways, 51,160 for this loaded up Ascent. Let's see how it performs. Well, we are setting off in the Ascent, and by the way, this is not a normal thing on the channel. My head strap mount that I use for the GoPro point of view broke. I will be getting a new one. Actually, after this video is the plan, as long as the store still has one in stock. But yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a different thing here instead of normal POV, which, sorry about that, but technical difficulties, which have been happening a lot lately on the channel. It's kind of annoying. I think I just need to get all new equipment at this point. But anyways, the Ascent. It's nice. What is this person doing? Okay, I'm just gonna go by. This is the big Subaru. This is kind of like a successor to the Tribeca, which did not do all that well. And the Ascent, it fixed a lot of things. So first off, ride's really nice. It's really comfortable with the ride quality, so I think that's a big plus. And the seats are comfortable too. Really nice trim. Everything feels premium, which I think is a big plus. And yeah, the suspension dampening is just good overall. Subaru does a good job with their cars. Again, they're all unibody, independent suspension, which is inherently going to ride well on road. But I don't know, they make them, excuse me, they make them pretty squishy, the Subarus. So that also helps out with the overall ride quality. And the turbo engine's got pretty good low-end grunt. It's not a rocket ship by any means, but it, you know, it can get out of its own way, no problem. And we got a little acceleration here. Speaking of turbo engines. Woo! Definitely get a nice shove. It definitely has that boosted feel where it's spools up and then starts to move. Steering's nice too. This drives well. It's not exciting in any way, and that's not what three-row SUVs are meant to be. They're not meant to be exciting. They're just meant to get the job done. And so overall, I think that the Subaru Ascent, I think they did a good job with this in terms of the driving dynamics. One complaint that I hear from people is the power with the Ascent. I don't think it's not fast for the segment at all, but I don't think it's lacking. Something to note though is most of the competitors use a torque converter automatic, not a CVT. So that is one thing that's kind of not in favor of the Ascent. But again, it seems to handle it all pretty darn well. I'll get one little mini acceleration here in a moment. Lots of traffic. Always. Man, it's crazy how much traffic there is today compared to what there used to be. Like, it just has a good low end shove. Would it be cool to have a bigger engine? Yeah, it would be. It's always cool to have a big engine, right? But I think overall it drives well. I mean, there's nothing particularly exciting about the Ascent. It's just basically a giant Subaru with a three-row. So if you like how Subarus drive, then and you need a three-row, that's what this provides. I think the biggest thing that Subaru could do is probably add a hybrid with the Ascent, because everyone wants hybrids nowadays. So if they added in a hybrid, then that would probably help out quite a bit. Because right now, I mean, you can get a Highlander hybrid, Grand Highlander hybrid. That's pretty much it. So for three rows. So let me know what you guys think about the Ascent.